everyone and welcome to our YouTube live watch-along. This is another big European night for Manchester United's women's team in the Champions League against Lyon. However, we just need to realise this because it's not, it's not going to be too tense tonight. We've already qualified. However, if we win this game, that's a great chance for us to get into that top four and hopefully not have to play those 2 extra games in the spring. So it's all to play for still. And I'm not on my own on this gigantic sofa. There's another sofa with my fabulous guests. I do feel quite small here. However, you two look very cosy. I've got Aoife Mannion and Lindsay Johnson with us. Aoife, I'm going to come to you first. This is another great European night, which has always pinched me moments this season for Manchester United, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the biggest game so far for me was the one at Old Trafford against PSG. I think in terms of matchups, there is surely not a bigger matchup that a United fan would want to see. United versus Lyon, maybe other than Barcelona. I think over the last 10 years, Lyon have won something like at least 5 or 6 Champions League. So if you really want to go toe-to-toe with the best in Europe, this is the game tonight to sort of test the waters. So I think it's going to be a baptism of fire, and I'm really, really looking forward to seeing it.
I mean, you're completely right. It's the thing that everyone says in women's football, that against Lyon, it's the hardest thing to face them when they're away from home because they're a force of nature, aren't they, Lindsay? How much strength are they going to show tonight?
Yeah, they're so experienced in European football. As Aoife said, they've dominated for years. They've been a big force for a number of years. And if you look at their squad, every player who are starting tonight will be an international player. Got some big players who've been there and done it. So, United have got a tough game tonight, but that's where they want to be. They want to be playing the best teams in Europe and testing themselves against these teams. And, the great thing is that they've already qualified, so they've got that in the locker, but it's now they want to test themselves. How can we fare against this Champions League side with the likes of Chawinga, who we know all about a couple of years ago when United were in those qualifying rounds of Champions League and she played for PSG. What a great player she is. So, if I was Riviere tonight, I'm going to be thinking, how am I going to play against Chawinga? And then you've got other players, like Julie Brand, again, in that front three, the German player who's an international. Ada Hegerberg, who's got over 100 caps for her country. So these are world-class players, and you yourself as a United player, you want to test yourself against them. You've got the opportunity tonight.
It's a huge opportunity, but now we need to go and see what the all-important team news is, because if you haven't seen it yet, this is how Manchester United women's team line up. The biggest news is whether there was going to be rotation or not, and Aoife, we were talking about this before we come on air here on YouTube. There's plenty of rotation, isn't there? One of the big news is Rachel Williams up front for us.
Yeah, I think from the perspective of someone who's played with a lot of the girls for so many years, I really love to see a lot of the girls getting the chance to have the opportunity. I think it shows that Mark trusts his squad. I think it shows the depth of the squad. So to see some names that haven't always featured, particularly for me, Gabby George had an amazing second half against Atletico when Dom obviously got sent off wrongly, in my opinion, and then did not put a foot wrong against PSG. So little things like that, I'm looking out for people's names. I'm delighted for them, delighted for their families, and why not go for the jugular tonight and go and get the win against Lyon?
I'm excited to see as well Lisa and Simi there and how they will play alongside each other, because I can't wait for you to have a little move around on this tactics board as well and let us know how you think the movement will be, because the rotation will be really interesting, especially because we've been so used to Rolfo and Mel mixing up between each other, but now with Rach as well, Rach's headers are incredible, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, the amount of times Rach has got the team kind of out of the dirt in the dying minutes of games over the years, she's just done so well. And I'm not going to say her age, but it's on the wrong side of the 30s. That's all I'm going to say. And to think that she's still producing at the level that she is, I'm really pleased for her. And I don't always think that she gets some of the praise that I think she deserves, and that's just my opinion.
I mean, yeah, I'm excited. Let's have a little look now at our opposition, Lyon. So let's have a little look and see now, because as you said there is a familiar face, Lindsay. I'd love you to tell us a little bit more about, obviously, Lyon's player, which is a former PSG player, which we remember from that game, which was a heartbreaking moment in that PSG game, but it's one that we remember that Chawinga, she was a player that was such a force then, and she was so strong, and it was very hard for us to combat her.
Yeah, it was, and I think United did really well to try and keep her at bay. But the pace she's got is frightening. She's really quick down that. Either flank she plays in, we normally see her on the left-hand side, and she's got a venomous shot as well. She's got so much power, she's aggressive, and she's one of those players as well. It's hard for a defender to defend because I think sometimes she doesn't know what she's going to do, so she's very off the cuff, so it's hard to read her, and that's hard to play against. So she will be difficult tonight, but I think, you know, Jade Riviere is going to be matched up against her, and who's better, athletic, she's quick herself. You know, I think that'll be a really good duel, that seeing those two players go together, but obviously someone that United's going to have to keep an eye on.
Yeah, they'll have to for sure. So that is the team news there. The lineups for you guys to have a little look out on YouTube. If you've not seen it already, there's plenty more where that came from on the Manchester United app as well. If you want to make sure you flick between everything that we're offering you at United as well. But get in the chat. If you want to get into the YouTube chat right now, you've got to make sure you like and subscribe. If you do that, you can get involved, and that way the three of us here can have a chat with you as well, give you a little shout out, because you're part of this United family, especially you YouTube lot, you are. But I need to ask you now, Aoife, we've got to put this tactics board to some use here. What do you think is probably the part of the pitch where you think we need to be looking at more? Lindsay, you said it there about Jade. Jade and Chawinga are going to be the ones that battle everyone's going to be looking at, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many matchups all over the pitch, and I've been told under good authority that I can stand up and my microphone's not going to get ripped off. So I'm going to try it.
Let's do it. We'll make this feel like home.
What's your question? You want to know?
I want to know, Jade Riviere and Chawinga, tell me about that matchup a lot more between them.
OK, so in England, I think what's really in fashion at the moment is fullbacks overlapping. So you get your bits and pieces like your Jades and your Anna Sandbergs, who in my opinion are probably one of the, if not getting towards the best in the WSL at doing what they do. But in France, it's a little bit different. They don't have the same level of expectation on their fullbacks. We say their fullbacks are flatter. So what that creates is a really high level of emphasis on what their wingers do. For example, Diani, she's not playing tonight, Chawinga, and Julie Brand. So what we'll see when Lyon, who are in blue, are attacking, is them really, really high and wide against United's fullbacks. They'll commit forward with Ada Hegerberg, and their midfield will commit forward. They'll also, and this is where I think in France is a little bit different, they'll also commit with Lindsay Heaps. She is an incredible midfielder, but she's not out and out a defensive midfielder. Now stick with me because I'm getting to the plot. So she'll commit forward. Here's my quiz question back to you.
Here we go.
Here's my quiz question. Lyon lose the ball up here, so let's say Chawinga's running down the left wing with Jade. Jade wins the ball. Here's my quiz question. Where's the space now? So if you're looking at the pitch, if you're looking here, tell me where you think the space is.
I like how I'm trying to make sure here that there's space
and
for you guys at home to see where this board is.
Just point your gut instinct.
My gut instinct.
So in all of this, where would you say is the most amount?
Aoife, you're going to do me here because I'm so scared to... I meant to ask you questions here.
Go on, you go.
You can't get it wrong.
You can't get the space wrong, can you?
You can't get it wrong.
Yeah.
Right, it's like, I asked you such an obvious question.
I'll try and dodge out the way.
You second-guessed yourself. That's where Lyon concede all of their chances and their goals. All of the goals that they conceded against Juventus were all what we call transition moments, like counter-attacks. So what happens when Lyon's attack breaks down and Jade does what she does, Anna does what she does, wins the ball back, what happens straight after United win the ball back is going to decide whether they win the game tonight. And I think that's where Simi and Lisa can do really well. They're a slightly different profile to your Toonies of the world. They're not as positional, so they want to run more. And when there's more space on the pitch, which there isn't in every game, but in this game, when Lyon loses the ball, there will be. When there's more space on the pitch, you'll see Hinny holding it in. We'll want Melvin, go. Rach, go. Rolfer, go. And then we'll get our Lisas and our Simmies really going for it and stretching. And I think you could almost get what we say an overload on their back line, which is different to in England. I think in England there isn't as much space on the transition, but Lyon are so good that they commit so many numbers forward, and then there's so much space when they lose it. So I think that took about 5 minutes to get to the plot line. Basically, I think that the plot line of this story will be what happens when Lyon lose the ball and how good United are at counter-attacks.
Aoife, I think I just loved it.
I'm
loved
sorry
every
for
single
asking you
second.
that question. I could see your face.
You know what? It was just the fact that I was more thinking we've got our lovely camera ups here, and I nearly just jumped in the way of the tactics board. And I thought no one's going to be able to see at home, are they? But we're going to get more of this tactics chat very shortly, because I definitely do want to chat to you about the attacking transitions. Because when you think about the attacking transitions, Rolfo, Mel, and Rach, they're quick as anything to get out there. That's perfect for them. But we'll chat about that soon. Let's have a look at what Ben Ibson's up to. He's at Lee.
Yeah, thanks, Zara. So, second versus fourth in the Women's Champions League then, and Manchester United have already impressed just about everybody in their debut season in the Champions League. Mark Skinner did say that his side are daring to dream, and to be the best, you have to beat the best. And if you're going to have that conversation, then Lyon certainly are a part of it. They're one of the best this competition's ever seen. Over a decade experience, they've won it 8 times, which included a stretch of 5 years in a row. However, they did come up against Juventus last time out and drew 3-3, probably the closest they've come to losing all season, because if you bring their form a little bit more recent, they're unbeaten in all competitions and they have 29 goals in their last 8 games. But interestingly in that, Juventus are actually Manchester United's next opponents in this competition. But how are we feeling ahead of tonight? Mark Skinner and Jade Riviere sat down in their pre-match press conference and told us that they can't wait for this battle. They want to face the best players in Europe, which is what they will be doing tonight. A little bit about our team ahead of this one. Elizabeth Turland, of course, she's missing after picking up a knock on Sunday against West Ham, which means Rachel Williams comes in for her first Champions League start, which is going to be really interesting to see her line up against this Lyon team. Melvine Mallard comes in to play against her old club, and a bright light in this competition for Manchester United has been Fridolina Rolfo. Since she joined in the summer, she's brought experience and goals. She's our top scorer in this competition, and hopefully we'll see her on the score sheet again this evening. But a little bit earlier on, I caught up with the manager, Mark Skinner. Mark, potentially your biggest task as Manchester United manager so far. How are you feeling? How are the players feeling ahead of this one?
Look, I'm excited. Look, we know the challenge ahead of us. We know that. But I'm excited because it's why we work so hard. We wanted it under the lights. We wanted, obviously Lee for us is home. And we wanted the challenge of the fantastic team. Look, this team can beat any team in the world. They're historic champions of this competition. What a beautiful challenge. We know we'll learn a lot tonight. And we are a unique team in terms of we're not easy to play against. And I think if we can bring the best of ourselves tonight, then we can get a result. And that's what I've challenged the players to really enjoy the occasion. No matter how hard it's going to be, dig in and show our character.
Just looking at the team as well, we know Terry was missing after picking up the knock on Sunday. Rachel Williams is in from the start. Probably a different test for any of these players for Lyon to come up against someone like Rachel, and I'm quite interested to see how that plays out.
Well, we looked at their team and the physicality of their team. You have to match. And if you don't match it, you can lose the game before you've even started. So we've looked at physicality tonight as a start point, but then our technicians can come in and make the game different. So we're looking at different game plans, but Rach is, you ask for what she's given to this club over her time at Man United, and to start her tonight, and I want to see her play like she's 18 again. She'll be really experienced, and I want to just maximise that tonight. If she can do that, she'll cause anybody any problems.
Mark, thank you. All the best.
Thank you.
Thanks for that, Ben. It's always lovely to hear from him and see his little smiley face. He was chatting to Mark there as well. Now, I'll give you the lowdown to what's going on if you are watching it on your tellies or if you're just watching us. So the teams have just come out now onto the pitch, getting ready for kickoff. Very short, it's just a minute away from kickoff in this huge Champions League game. But now, if you don't know, and you're only tuning into us now, we have said already, we have qualified for the next stage. But a win tonight could push us into that top 4 spot, which will mean that if we're in there, we get to avoid those 2 spring Champions League games, which is something that I think we want, especially because we're trying to fight in the WSL as well as the Champions League. We want to compete. Now, Lindsay, when you think about that, this is a great position for Manchester United to be in, and probably something you would have dreamt of if you spoke to us in pre-season.
Yeah, of course. Obviously, if you could have qualified for the next round of the Champions League after match game 3, then match game 4, then you'd be over the moon, wouldn't you? Be buzzing with it. So great position to be in, but it's that final hurdle, and it's quite a big hurdle, isn't it? It's like a steeplechase, Lyon. So yeah, it's a big one tonight. But if they play, they can play with a bit of freedom, knowing that they have qualified, and not put that pressure on themselves. Because, like you say, you're going on all fronts: WSL, FA Cup, Champions League, and you want to win as much as you can. So if you can reduce the amount of games you play by not playing those extra 2 qualification games, that's exactly what you want.
It is. And now, as I said, the game has just kicked off now. Manchester United on the ball, and Aoife, we said it already that Mel is one of those exciting players at the minute that all the fans are loving. We actually were just live on TikTok before this. If you want to make sure you follow Manchester United's women's team, get on TikTok, get on Instagram. We're all on there because we were just on TikTok, and a lot of the fans were saying that they're expecting big things from Mel tonight.
I mean, we were saying it before that she's not necessarily been a shoo-in to be a clear starter every game. At least that wasn't the role that she was in the team last year. And so to see her sort of work into the form and the fashion that she has, I'm really pleased for her. She's also a big game character. In Mark Skinner's press conference yesterday, I think he emphasised the need for United to attack Lyon, not just to defend. I think he said if United sit back and defend, then they're going to lose the game, he said. So players like Melvin really give you that intensity on and off the ball, and I think that's exactly what him and the rest of the team are going to be looking at tonight.
And with Melvin as well, she'll know a lot of these players, obviously being French and playing with them in previous teams, and obviously in the national side as well. So that just gives you, not that she needs any more incentive, but it does give you an extra incentive to do well against your fellow country people.
Yeah, it does. This is such a huge game. Everyone in the chat is getting excited about it as well. So we'll give you a shout out very soon. But if you're looking as to where to watch the game, if you've not got it on your tellies already, make sure you have a little look at the chart, as our wonderful admin has put a link to it. So if you click on there, you'll be able to tune in. It is on Disney Plus, a couple of other platforms as well. Make sure you go and have a nosy, because this is going to be a tough game for Manchester United. As we've said already, Lyon is a giant in women's football. They've got a great setup. They're definitely well versed. So this could be our biggest challenge yet. I'm going to go into the chat now as well. We've already had DJ Darkus Night 2054. That's a long name. That took you a while for that one, mate, didn't it?
It's a regular. I remember.
It's a regular
memory.
Yeah,
That's
it's a
good
regular.
memory.
Yeah.
It's nice to have you with us again. So they've said, I was watching the men's team Monday, we won. Then our under-18s won last night. Tonight it's our women's team's turn. Let's make it a hat-trick. Sounds like a great plan, doesn't it? And then what I really want then is to have like a picture of us celebrating at full time, picture of the under-18 celebrating, then of the men's, and have it all together on socials. That'd be lovely, wouldn't it?
That would be lovely. Let's manifest that.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's all
manifest
manifest
it
together in this chat right now. What are you thinking so far of this? Because it is tough.
I think United started really well, actually, the first couple of minutes. There was some lovely link-up play with Jade and Melvin down the right-hand side. And 3 minutes in, we're just starting to see Liam getting into a bit more of a passing rhythm. But certainly, as a hot take, I think United have started really well. They've won some duels, any little aerial pieces, they've been right on it. We call it winning the first and second pieces. I think it's been a good start. They need to keep this up now and try and settle into a rhythm in the first 15 minutes.
I think what works really well, and we've seen it at the start there with Rach Williams, is that when to press and when not to. And I think Rach Williams leads the line exceptionally well, and she dictates that. But I think all the front three does it. If Turlin's playing, she does that really well. It's obviously something that Mark instills in his players. But Rach, with that experience, she leads it really well. And if you're going to follow someone, you're going to follow Rach Williams, aren't you? You'd follow her through a brick wall, because that wall would be down, wouldn't it, if Rach ran through it? There'd be no wall there.
I mean, Rach is great. It's great that you've got a player like Rach that can just jump into the mix. It was a shame that we heard it in the press conference yesterday with Mark Skinner when he said that Terry has a bit of a knock. But this is where rotation is great, because players have that chance to rest and make sure they're fully fit, because this is a long season for United, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. We alluded to it before. They're fighting on all fronts. You know, the WSL, after the weekend's game, Chelsea got beaten by Everton at home. It opens it up, so that's still all to play for. You've got the FA Cup coming to play, League Cup as well after Christmas. You are fighting on all fronts, and we've mentioned it before. United don't have as big a squad as you likes of Chelsea and Arsenal, possibly City, who aren't in the Champions League. So really that rotation becomes extremely important. You've got to rest your players and also give those other players an opportunity to be competitive and be on the pitch as well. And that's what he's certainly done tonight.
I mean, if you look at this now, there's 5 minutes gone in this game. Aoife, this is quite a comfortable start for Manchester United. We're going toe-to-toe with Lyon. This is exactly how we wanted us to start.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've just seen Jade alone there sort of make a few interceptions in the last minute or so. And I think you have to earn your right to kind of work your way into a game. And those little moments where you're doing some of the grunt work and the dog work that you don't necessarily get the plaudits for, don't necessarily come through in your like fancy stats of possession, those are the bits that sort of set you up on a pedestal to go on and kick on in the game and create chances for yourself. So it's really pleasing that immediately I'm getting the sense that this team tonight, they're really at the races, they're really up for the game. And you have to remember, these girls have played against West Ham only 3 days ago, and that was a challenge that they never, I was in the mix, we never had last year. So they've had to take everything up a level, and it's really, really good to see how they've taken to it. I think they've got the joint second best form in the Champions League. I think only Lyon and Barcelona have had better form than them. So those teams have won every game apart from one that they've drew. United and a few other teams have won every game apart from one which they've lost. So they've had the best form in England. What more can you ask for from that? And I think sometimes we need to shout out about that a bit more, because there's so much expectation on these players, so much expectation on this club to perform, that when there are little good bits, I think it's important to shout about it.
And there was just a chance for Lyon as well, if you've seen it then.
When I
feel
talking,
like me and you just completely gasped for a minute.
And I was looking at it going,
yeah. I'd love to see just a replay, just our reactions going, hold on a minute, Aoife.
Yeah, shut up.
it was actually a good bit of play from Ada Hegerberg on that right-hand side and got the better of Sandberg, unfortunately, put in a nice cross into the box, dropped for Dumoulin in that area and got a shot all wrong, got underneath it. But it just shows, obviously, they've got quality all over the pitch. We know they're going to have purple patches tonight. It's about that organisation from United and that, you know, being tight in those units as well. So hopefully they'll pick that up as the game continues.
But this is where you can see now, as we said, that the way to combat them is to be aggressive. We're just seeing it there, Rolfo just going straight pressing, as aggressive as what you can possibly can. If we sit back, that's the worst thing we can possibly do, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. I think that's probably that. If you look at the selection of Simi and Narsland, who are very combative players, will be aggressive in those midfield areas. They can do the box-to-box, the run-in, and not that Tuna doesn't do that, but she's more likes to get on the ball, creative player. Then, you know, you've got those two players in there to break up that play, particularly when you're playing against the likes of Lindsay Heaps, the American who's got, you know, bags of caps again for America, over 100. She's that box-to-box player. You need to come up against her and challenge her and be that combative midfielder.
It's also great that we've got Fallon in between the sticks as well. I love how all the fans at Lee decided to call her basically Batman and Superman with that mask at the weekend, so for that West Ham game.
Yeah, she'll be loving that as well. And I think, I mean, we've said before how much she is into sort of like her marine biology and kind of animal species and all stuff like that. I think she should get, you know how people get their arm casts kind of like tattooed on, or people drawing it? I think she should do that with her face mask with like animals that she really likes. I genuinely think
that was
really
close for Lyon then.
That was a really good shot.
And this is where Jade's really confident.
Yeah, brilliant positioning from Jade. Ball comes in. It's kind of a rangy, stretching ball to the back post. Just watching it back now. Is that Lindsay Heaps at the back post?
Yeah.
And she's a player that normally for Lyon plays deeper on the pitch. So that's something that maybe they won't necessarily, United, have been expecting, that she's playing almost in that advanced midfielder position. So definitely one to watch. She's a massive physical presence in terms of her ability and also stature. And Jade did some really good defending there.
I mean, she's a player that just likes to put a body on the line completely. You look at the confidence that has grown within Jade Riviere from last season. It's astronomical.
Yeah, 100%. I totally agree with that. You know, even everywhere from a positional sort of awareness in that sort of full-back position, she was unsure of when and where to go, but now her timing's right. She knows when to get forward. She knows when to hold her ground. But like you say, Zara, she puts a body on the line and gives 100%. And I think that's why the fans love her. They can see that she doesn't leave anything on the pitch.
I think part of Jade's problem is that she's so fast. And when you're so fast as a defender, you can actually cheat in your positioning slightly. So you don't have to be, I notice as I'm getting older now, you have to get your body ready so that the moment that the ball gets played over your head, you're already anticipating it and you're already on your way. She doesn't actually have to do that. But what that means is that on that 1 out of 10 occasion, less than that, 1 out of 20, where she'll come up against a winger who may be as quick as her, that was that extra piece for her. And I think that's now, over the last couple of years that she's bedded into United, she's bringing that in spades now, that positional discipline. And it was a perfect example of her there, clearing the ball from the back post. A few years ago, maybe those were the bits that would have taken the game to the next level, as we have seen now.
If you haven't seen it already as well, make sure you check it out on the app, because we did an interview with Mark and Jade yesterday, and I actually took the mick out of Jade in the best way, because she said that she was just buzzing for the game, and I was like, Jade, you've actually got the lingo. She's basically a local now. Oh, he won't.
What
Unbelievable block there from Jade. I mean, we said this, that Lyon are super quick. They're well versed in this. That was a one-on-one chance there for Lyon. Oh, and there we go. It is 1-0 to Lyon right now. Fallon just nearly missed that in the sense of that save. It was great that she had that opportunity there to try and help, but this is where it's tricky coming up against Lyon. We knew it would be a challenge tonight.
Yeah, the last few minutes, there's been a lot of pressure from it, and here we can see that. We're just seeing a replay of it here, and I think it's Chawinga, isn't it, putting that pressure, wins the ball and plays Ada Hegerberg in, but you think she's on to score, but Jade makes a really good recovery, tackle, intercepts the ball, but probably not enough pressure on the ball here when it comes out. There's a cross in from this right-hand side from Engen, I think. And again, Chawinga just throws a body across it.
We said how lethal Chawinga would be in this game, and we know how much of a threat she is, especially because she has been previously to Manchester United.
Yeah, and it's actually Chawinga who started off the move, then fell on the floor, who ended up coming back into the mix to get a head on. But it was a really, really good header. She directed the ball really well, put it in the corner, made it really difficult for foul. Something that's unusual about this Lyon team is they have a really good aerial presence. They're really good at scoring headed goals, and that is the same for the whole of the front line, especially Ada Hegerberg. But as we've seen, Chawinga's just popped up there. So we say about these players, they're so quick, and usually that means that they're quite one-dimensional, not with these Lyon. Wow, that was another great chance as well. Ada Hegerberg heading the ball, misses it, thankfully. But clearly these aerial threats could be something that United are really going to have to look at tonight. Just comes probably slightly outside of the front post. Can't quite direct it enough. It's a really awkward angle, but you can see that they feel really happy, Lyon, putting crosses into the box and committing numbers. I think this is, as a defender, where when this happens a couple of times, where you're under the pump maybe for a couple of minutes, the opposition team has put the ball in the box, you just have a conversation, sometimes it's just a matter of communication, chatting to whoever's next to you, saying, look, right, 1, we need to stop the cross, and 2, let's just get our positioning sorted. If Ada Hegerberg wants to run way past the front post and put her header in from that angle, fine, she's probably not going to score, but they say, let's not give them the answer. Let's not do anything silly with our positioning. So I think that's what the defence are going to really have to just think about in the next 10 minutes. And I'm sure that the rhythm and the momentum will swing back into United's favour.
Hopefully it will. It looks like as well now that we've got Lyon on the attack again. But this is where, for instance, it's great to have people like Mel with that pace that can just run back in there to try and make sure that transition's as quick as possible to help the defenders. Oh, close again for Lyon.
That was a wicked cross, wasn't it, from this left-hand side? And at the moment, it's their deliveries which are really causing United problems into the 6-yard area. And like Aoife said, it really needs the wide players, whether it be the full-backs or whether it be Mallard or Rolfo, they need to put that pressure on those wide players quicker to stop those crosses into the box. Just need to ride this period out. Lyon are definitely on top, and they're really putting the screw on United at the moment. So ride this out, get possession of the ball, and get higher up the pitch. Really.
Yeah, and if you can ride this out, or even if you can clear your lines properly from when the ball gets crossed in that moment there, ball comes into the box. There's 6 Lyon players in the box. That means if you win the ball, you've actually only got to beat their back line. So there's so much space, like we were saying earlier, between their players that are committing to the attack and their players that are kind of the defenders that are disconnected and underneath the line of the attack. So if they can just maybe try and stop the crosses, but when it does come in, that's a perfect opportunity when the girls win the ball back to potentially, pose a counter-attack with Melvine, like you were just saying. She's so good at releasing that pressure, really good at dribbling and carrying the ball. And I think that's the way to work yourself back into this game.
I do love the fact that in this live chat we've got everyone probably singing from the same hymn sheet that we all are. We've got Welcome to Valhalla 3838. They have said this is what we need, a Lyon goal, because that's going to get the passion from the Manchester United Reds. It's probably a good thing to mention there is that you just need a little bit more fire in the bellies potentially on this.
Yeah, I mean, it's always disappointing as a player when you start so well. I think United were brilliant the first 5 minutes, had all the right intensity. I think they were dominating their duels. And then kind of out of a few crosses that seemingly come from nothing, a goal has been conceded. And that can go one of 2 ways. You can either be really deflated, or you think, right, we need to get back to basics, remember how we've started, remember the game plan. And these girls, like we've just been saying, they've got the joint second best form. Say these girls, United, joint second best form in Champions League, so no better group than to bounce back after conceding a goal. But I mean, as a defender, I would never necessarily need to concede to then be like, right, we need to kick on. But if there's ever a time to do it, it is definitely when you've conceded, and there's so much left of the game as well, and you can already see. This sort of possession that we're looking at now, as long as it's in front of United, it's not that dangerous. The problem is when Lyon will get down the sides and try and put a cross in. If we can stop that, then I think they've got a good chance of getting back into the game. That's
where they've looked dangerous, and I think where they've played a little bit different than what we thought they might have. The Brazilian right back, Tarsini, on that right-hand side, she's playing quite high.
She has. She's done the opposite of what I did a whole spiel on.
Which can happen, Aoife, all the way, at any time. But she's Brazilian. She does what she wants. So yeah.
And she's dead right. And she's dead right as well.
She's pushing up high, and it's not Sandberg struggling at the moment to then pick up. You've got Julie Brand. You've got Ada Hegerberg moving over to that right-hand side as well. Tarsini as well pushing on. So I think it's a problem at the moment on that right-hand side.
Yeah, it is really difficult because when you get the full-back, which is the exact opposite of what I said earlier, when you get Tarsini or Basha put a really nice cross from the left-hand side into the box, when they run up really high, usually it's the wingers that are meant to track. That's fine if the winger tracks, but you can end up being like 6 at the back. So it can be a bit of a balance. You really need to try and get pressure high, a little bit higher up the pitch. Fine tracking, and when you need to do that, you really do need to do that. But all of a sudden you can kind of be defended in and around your own box and you don't really know what it's come from.
Yeah, and credit to Lyon, because they'll have looked at United's forward players in Mallard and Rolfo. Where do you want Mallard and Rolfo? You want them in their defensive third, defending, rather than up high attacking, and they've pushed them back. So I'm sure Mark, being the great tactician he is, he'll have a solution for it, and that'll come to fruition soon. But at the moment, they've got to ride out this hot pressure from Lyon.
We have got a little bit of a debate in the chat going on as well, because There are people saying about, hold on a second, why have we made so many changes to this team? But then there's a great comment that has come back, and they've ended up replying back to it saying, because we've got someone that's replied and said, because the French league is not competitive, only PSG is a tough game for Lyon, whereas for us we have got the WSL. Do you agree with that statement?
Well, I'd even back that statement up even more, that PSG got battered off Lyon in the league as well. So it is a valid point. It's not as a competitive league as you know, the WSL, but as we said before, I think rotation has got to happen in this United squad. As Aoife said, they played West Ham 3 days ago. They've got another game on Sunday.
Spurs,
You've got to rotate, and you've got strong players in this squad, and they've got, I'm sure they're training so well that they've got to give them opportunities. So I think rotation was a must.
And also, to add on to that, just because a player doesn't start doesn't mean they can't finish the game. I mean, coaches use the lingo now. There's not substitutes, it's finishers. I disagree with that. I think you're a starter or you're a sub. But that doesn't mean that the role of the sub cannot be a really crucial one, and something that can absolutely change the game up completely, get the game over the line. So yes, we can debate, should someone have started or should they not have started. They can come into the game and make all the difference, and that's definitely something that we'll see from, I'm sure, 60 minutes onwards. That's a tool that Mark has in his locker that maybe in previous years there wasn't the same depth of squad. So what a brilliant conversation to have when it's not obvious who your starting lineup should be, because you've got so much talent in your squad. And maybe when I was coming into the team 4 years ago, that wouldn't necessarily have been the same talking point. So in a way, there's good problems to have, and that's a good problem.
I mean, there is a good problem to have, especially when you think about it. When you look at what Manchester United women's team have got coming up for them in December, this is a busy month. It's something that we spoke about already to Mark Skinner in his pre-match media duties. So to give you some insight, December alone, we've just had West Ham at the weekend, and that was after an international break, so the girls have had to get back into it. We've got Lyon tonight. Then on Sunday, we have got Spurs at home. Then another Champions League game on the 17th, that's next week, Juventus away. And then we also have the FA Women's League Cup, that Subway Cup, which is another home game, and that's against Spurs. There is no easy game.
No rest for the wicked.
No rest for the wicked.
It's tough at the top. It's tough at the top, Sarah.
We always wanted to be at the top,
yeah.
didn't we?
Yeah. And you know what? It does show you. I used to think this when we used to play, let's say, your Chelseas or your Arsenals. It until you're actually doing that schedule of fixtures where you're playing a game every 3 days, you don't realise how difficult it is. It is actually so difficult pumping games out like that. I think Mark said they only had an hour or something to prepare for one of their games after the back of the last midweek game, maybe in between, either before the Wolfsburg game or it would have been before the Wolfsburg game. So you're prepping for a massive European fixture with 1 hour on the pitch, because if you play on a Sunday, your Monday's probably off if you've played, or you're in but you're just kind of watching analysis. Then on Tuesday it's match day -1, so yes, you can go onto the pitch, but you can't really do that much. So, I mean, the way that football's gone now, you do so much from just watching clips, you're in meetings, you're listening to what the manager's saying, but there's no replacement for actually being able to get a good training week in, and that's something that you just can't do if you're playing in Champions League. So fair play to the girls. I mean, it's such a tough schedule, and I think that's why you do need a level of rotation. You do need fresh people on the pitch, not least because there's so much quality, but also because it's too hard for the same 11 to bash out that amount of minutes every 3 days.
This is probably why I love speaking to people like you two so much, because from a fan's perspective, you aren't thinking about that. You just think of it as you've got a few days. You've got a few days before that game, so you think, you're just on the pitch all the time. You forget about recovery.
Yeah.
You forget, travel is included. Making sure you're having the right nutrition, because that's such a huge factor as well. With all these things, it puts a better perspective on things from a fan.
Because actually, I don't think people realise how few hours in the week you're actually on pitch. So if you take out the warm-up and maybe the first bit of training where you're doing a bit of passing, if you totted up all of the hours in the week that you're actually training, apart from that, it's probably like 6-7 hours in the whole week. It's like, it just shows you the importance of every minute counts, and that's why it can be so damaging when you've got so many games, because there's not that much time on pitch in general, so then there's even less in Champions League. That was a really good free kick just put in. It was really far out, actually. Lindsay Heaps at the back post. I think if there was a bit more flight on it, it could have been more dangerous, but it almost runs low and through really quickly. Great delivery on a left foot from Basher, the left back. She put a decent ball into the box from a wide area earlier on, so it's not surprising that she was on that free kick. But yeah, Lyon are looking dangerous from balls into the box, and I think it will be one of them for them where you make hay, like whatever's working, you just want to keep doing that. So until United solve that little problem, I think Lyon will keep wanting to do what's been working for them.
Possible penalty for Lyon. We'd have to see it back. I think, was it Narsland?
Maybe Anna.
Or was it Anna?
Yeah, we definitely would have to see that back.
Yeah, we'd have to see it back. But I mean, there was
I'd love
no
to see the
shouts.
different angle as well.
Yeah, there was no shouts. It was just caught my breath for a second.
If you thought it was possible, and if you were Lyon, you'd be screaming.
Yeah, and they weren't. They carried on.
Yeah. But now we have had another comment come in, so we'll give you a little shout out. So we've got Tom Up 7LV who says, listening in on the way to work here in Sydney, Australia. Great to have the girls playing on this stage. To give you a little bit of context, it's currently 7:26 a.m. in Australia. That's commitment to being a Red. I like it. You are definitely part of our family. So we have to give you a huge shout out for that. But I do want to know in the chat, it's something that our wonderful director calls United Nations, which is really funny in my eyes. We need you to put in the chat where you are watching this watch-along from. Where you're watching the game, you could be on your sofa round the corner from Old Trafford. You could be at Lee. You could be there yourself that are just tuning in whilst you're there in that ground. Or you could be miles away. Let us know if Sydney, Australia is the furthest away who is watching us today. Who do you reckon is what place do you think people are watching us from that could be the furthest away, Aoife?
Well, we've had this a few times now where people have dropped in, and I think someone said maybe Costa del Northwich one week, or was it Republic of Northwich?
Listen, I'm going to try and copyright it because I'm from Eccles, so I call it Costa del Salford. It's always been Costa del Salford. As soon as that sun's peeking out a little bit, it could be the middle of December, but that's what we do. Yeah, we've also got our director saying Staley Vegas is another one. There's plenty of names.
Oh, I'd rather be in Sydney right now, though.
Yeah, it must be Sydney. That must be out further. But we've had South Africa. Yeah. We've had somewhere in Africa, haven't we? Cape Town. Yeah, but Sydney must be the furthest.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not offended at all that you said that you'd rather be in Sydney rather than sat with us.
Yeah, I did. When I said that, I thought it sounded a bit ungrateful, actually.
Yeah, she meant be in Sydney watching the watch-along.
Yeah, or just in my other, outside of this, not right in this moment.
I even brought snacks and everything in for.
Although, if someone said if you click your fingers right now, you'll be in Sydney, I'd be very tempted.
We'd be clicking our heels all of us. Oh, we have got people in the chat that are getting involved. So we have got Rebecca Ann Jarvis says, I'm a local lass. I live in Walkden near Lee. Lovely to have you with us. We've also got Flanusi online that says Cholton near Old Trafford.
Nice.
So yeah. And then we've got Aunt James Official. I'm watching from Salford. Come on, United. I have to give a shout out to you, of course. If you can tell, I am local as well. We've got Mark Doyle 9144 who says, I'm watching from Ireland. Let us know whereabouts in Ireland.
Yeah, what county?
What county? Yeah, I was going to say Aoife's going to be all over this.
Let's see if we're related.
We'll see. There's definitely always someone. I'd love it if it's just like, yeah, I'm a Connolly as well. Yeah. Then we're all connected somehow.
Yeah. See United here just trying to push higher up the pitch, and this is what they need to do. I think Rach Williams has done a lot of running so far and not seen much of the ball at all, and that's hard. I mean, we know she'll run all day long, but she wants to get on the ball. Awuju, Narsland in those midfield areas, we need them on the ball, because at the moment it's kind of bypassing the midfield and getting out to those wide plays, and that's where the damage has been done for Lyon.
Got another comment coming in from Rob Johnson. He says, thank you so much for doing these watch-alongs. I'm enjoying watching while I'm on my lunch break in a foggy California.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, so there you go. Can someone just go through, like, miles and we'll have, like, a little ranking system as to who's the furthest away? That'd be lovely. But yeah, we've got this. We've even got Krishnaswamy2941 watching from Cape Town.
Lovely.
We're going global, guys. That's what we're doing. We're going everywhere.
Nice.
And this is something that one of our camera ops today will be very happy to hear, because we have L.J. Moran6412 who says, checking in from Costa del Northwich.
Yes, love it. Toot toot. Context, I used to live 10 minutes outside Northwich in a lovely little village called Davenham. It's just in Cheshire, yeah.
That even sounds lovely.
Davenham. Yeah, it was lovely. Really nice. But yeah, back to the
Back to the footy.
Back to the footy. It looks like the girls are able to get a bit more pressure higher up the pitch. I think that's when you're kind of at a glance trying to get a sense of where the flow of the game is. It's basically like where the bodies are on the pitch. And when I look onto the screen and I can see the girls pressing much higher up the pitch, that tells me that they're trying to get a bit of momentum back into the game. So I think we need a bit more of that. I think it's a great opportunity for United to try and win the ball back high up the pitch. That said, it's too much for Rach to do on her own. She needs either the commitment and support from the rest of the girls around her, or you have to sit into a block and be hard to beat. So it's picking your moments of when you're going to commit and really go for it. Go, right, we're going to win the ball back here, high up the pitch, release your Melvin Mallards or your Rolfers to like make an entry into the box. Or you go, actually, this isn't the right moment. We need to conserve energy. Maybe we need to be in a bit of a mid-block, but either way, try and stop the crosses coming into the box on the flip side.
Yeah, and I think that just the last 4 or 5 minutes, they've been able to break up that play with Lyon a little bit and just stop them from playing a little bit. But I do think you're right, there's the distances at times between Rach and then the midfield, particularly Simi, in that maybe 10 position is probably too big at times. So it's a big gap then for Lyon to play in between.
I probably just want to touch upon, we have been extremely complimentary to Lyon. And that's because we do say this, Lyon is a giant in women's football. We know how strong they are. However, they are human, because they were defeated earlier on this year to Arsenal when they were playing away there. So they aren't the robots, machines that we think that they are, because there is a way to break them down here. So even though we are 1-0 down, we need to still have that belief.
They'll concede goals. Well, they can concede goals. In their last Champions League game, they were 3-0 down to Juventus, which was a shock. It was a shock. And they did manage to draw the game 3-3. But I think that's probably one reason why Lyon have started the game so well and have come at United out the blocks, because they needed to learn a lesson from, you know, a slow start against Juventus. But you are right, Sarah, they are human, they're vulnerable at the back. I think United haven't tested them, they've not created any opportunities yet, which is a shame. But I think if United can open them up, then they'll show that there is vulnerabilities definitely in that back line.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think Lyon are at their most vulnerable when they're actually attacking really high up the pitch. Just watching a cross come into the box. What I was going to say is, yeah, there are chinks in the armour. They're not the team, they're not the dominant team in Europe that they were 4 or 5 years ago. That being said, I don't think they've lost a game this season. They've not lost a game in a really long time. The last game they lost would have been maybe Champions League semi-final against Arsenal.
Yeah.
So, yes, there are chinks in the armour, but yes, they're not the most dominant in the way that they have been, but they're still right at the top of the tree, really. This is kind of going toe-to-toe with the best. The only other team you would say that's of the same calibre out and out, I know Arsenal did win the Champions League, but you'd have to say Barcelona for the more consistent form over the past few years. So it is a test, and Lyon have come out and showed their quality. I think at half-time, that'll be a really nice time to just tweak a few things, maybe bring some extra energy, then have an idea of some fresh faces to come onto the pitch at a certain time. There's definitely more that can be had from this game.
Yeah, and there's loads of positives to take from this game. I mean, you know, you're 35 minutes in, and yeah, United haven't created an opportunity. They're 1-0 down, so defensively they're doing a job. There's lots of running off the ball, so I do think, you know, there will be changes after half-time, because you can't continue to do that running without the ball. It just drains your energy, doesn't it, when you haven't got the ball. And you've got game changers on the bench for United. You've got Galton, you've got Jess Park, and you've got Tooney, players who can come on and create opportunities. So they're very still much in this game.
Just to clarify as well, just in this chat that we're talking about Lyon's previous results. So it was back on the 27th of April 2025, it was, where Lyon were beaten by Arsenal. That was 4-1. And then it was Lyon beat them 2-1. They're a team that fluctuates in the results when they are away from home. You don't know what you're going to get, but they always seem a little bit stronger. We've just seen a stat now as well. There's only been 77 passes completed by United, where there's been 207 for Lyon. Aoife, we said it even before this game kicked off about when Lyon are in possession, how much stronger that they are. But as you said there, the gap that's there that we just need to exploit, it's there for the taking if we want it.
Yeah, it is there for the taking. I think the girls are trying so hard with their press and committing so many numbers to the press, to like a high press, that actually when Lyon are getting in down the sides, it's not like jumping out from a mid-block, so you've got all your players. It's kind of, I don't want to use the word disjointed because that sounds negative, but I would just like to see a little bit more emphasis on the quality in the counter-attack, I would say. If not, there's no shame in dropping into a mid-block. No shame at all. And I think that what Lyon are doing really well when they've got the ball, and probably where they're making a lot of their passes, and when you look at possession stats, you always have to take it with a pinch of salt, because it's not just how many passes you're making, it's what passes are actually hurting you. So Lyon could do all the passes they want for the world as long as it's in front of your formation and in front of your structure. So I take that with a pinch of salt. But what Lyon are doing well is they're kind of dropping into what can look like a back three at times. And that can be really hard to press when you've just got one striker like a Rach. So you either have to commit an extra number forward, or you have to concede, look, these guys are really good at passing out from the back. We just need to sit in and pick our time a little bit better.
And I think that's a really important point about picking your time, because it's risk versus reward. If you're pushing your fullbacks on, like Aoife said, and you've got three at the back, Mellard and Rolfo can be worried about those wide players and they'll drop off. Well, if you counter that and take that risk and stay higher, then their wide players are either have to go with you, or you're going to eventually win that ball in space.
Speaking of which, Lyon have just had a chance there. It looks like it's going to be a corner for Lyon now as well. Mela Tissier there putting her body on the line. She is such a tough player, and it's great that she's our leader. I mean, she definitely leads by example, doesn't she?
Yeah, Maya is a tough cookie, and she's an example of someone who, whatever you're doing as a player in terms of your prep or how serious you're taking footy, she's doing it more so. I've probably only met maybe one or two other people that live, walk the walk as much as she does. She's in the gym before everyone else, she's doing more on the pitch than everyone else, she's taking it more seriously than everyone else, and she's the perfect example of someone who lives and breathes it, and that is infectious. You need that in a team, especially from a young player. It's just watching a corner come into the box. Overhit, no one really touched it. I think it's went out for another corner. Lyon can be quite dangerous on, maybe it's a goal kick. Lyon can be quite dangerous on overhit corners. They do like to head some of their goals from the back post. That is definitely one to watch. But yeah, what I was saying about Maya, leads by example, really, really good player. And I'm really pleased for her, on a personal note, that she's actually getting...
That was very close.
Playing out from the back. It was a little bit...
It was under hit,
squeaky.
wasn't it?
It was a little bit squeaky, but now it's created a perfect opportunity for Jade. She's firing down the right-hand side.
This is what you were saying previously, that Jade ends up turning into a bit of a winger all of a sudden.
Yeah, she attacks like a winger, defends like a fullback. So really, she's got to work cut out for her. She's doing a little bit of something in every phase of play.
But that's the first time we've seen it this game, and then look at where United are. They're outside Lyon's 18-yard box.
Oh, that was so close.
Oh, she
that
should have scored.
That was a great chance.
It was a brilliant ball, and she's onside as well, whether she was thinking she was offside, Mallard. It's this ball in... Who swings the ball in?
Lovely ball from Hinney.
Hinney is
Onside,
so good at picking out
Mallard.
those passes.
Yes.
She's pulled on
She
the back
gets under
shoulder
it, doesn't
of
she?
Engen. And like you say, Aoife, she's underneath it, and it's fired over the bar rather than getting over the top of it, firing down low into the floor. She'll be disappointed.
Yeah,
Mallard.
she will. And I think she thought that she was further out from the goal than she actually was. When you're further out, you think you kind of have to generate more power. I think that's why she got under the ball, when actually, if she'd almost just let the ball hit and redirect it, I think that was almost a nailed-on goal. That is really disappointing for her, but it's a sign of hopefully what's to come for United. First time we saw Jade running up the wing, really good. They need to do it again.
They do, and for you lucky watch-along viewers, you can have a look at that chance right now, because you heard us right here on these lovely sofas. We really thought that was going to go in and it was going to be 1-1, but it is still 1-0 for Lyon at the minute. But keep in mind, we're only 5 minutes away from half-time, the second half to play. To see that opportunity there for Manchester United and the way that Hinney just picked out Mel.
That was an amazing ball.
It was a great ball in. As a player in that position, Mel will be screaming for that. She'll want that to happen again and again, and it's just a shame that Mel couldn't finish it.
Yeah, it's a shame, and I think the sharp end of Champions League is that you don't know how many chances like that you're going to get in a game. But it does show you that something can come from nothing, because before this, in the last maybe half an hour, we've been sort of saying about how strong Lyon have looked and how the United girls are working really hard, but they've not seen a lot of the ball. And then the best chance of either team comes out of that moment from nothing.
And it goes back to what we said before, that risk or reward. You all heard us take those gasps in because they were playing out from the back, under-hit ball in the 18-yard box for United, but they managed to play it out, and Jade was able to break on that right-hand side, and that's where that chance came from Jade's transition on that right-hand side.
Yeah, and we've said this before, you can tell how well a United team are doing by how high up the pitch the fullbacks are, because they're a team that have just such strong fullbacks, and Anna and Jade offer so much to the game that when they look like they're high up the pitch, you can go, United are looking good here. And that was probably the first clear moment where we'd seen that. So hopefully that will give them a bit of an impetus to try and do it again, basically.
This is where we said, though, before, when we actually spoke about the passes completed stat, because we said you may be able to complete so many passes, but it's what you do with it. Then it would have been unbelievable to say that Manchester United scored, even though they had such little in comparison.
Yeah, massively. And I think different leagues are different. I mean, I play in the WSL 2 at the moment. The least predictor of a result can sometimes be the possession stats. So it's not necessarily something you need to hang your hat on. When you do see gaping differences, it probably tells you generally what team are having the better chances. But like you've just said, Zara, Lyon can have all of the passes that they want, and then the best chance falls to United. And there's no reason why that trend won't continue. I do think that when they go in for half-time and they go in for their chat, they probably will want to get a bit more of a handle on the game. But it's definitely encouraging to see just how vulnerable Lyon can be on the break. And it was interesting when we gasped. I think it was Hinney's pass when she was playing out from the back. Yeah. We gasped at her pass, but then it was her actually putting the ball into the box from kind of a bit of a cross, but it was sort of from a central area rather than wide. So she started and finished the attack, unusual, which showed that, yes, they've not had many passes, but in that one stream there, they'd played all the way through the thirds, which was really encouraging.
We have got people in the chat talking about the opportunity for us, but we have got Zero Trace Music that says, this is better play, though, for Manchester United. That'll give the players confidence that we can cut them open. And it's exactly what you said there,
I like that
Aoife.
phrase, cut them open.
Cut them open.
So visceral, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Cut them open. To be fair, that's exactly what a manager would say.
It is.
Like, girls, we need to cut them open today.
We'll tell Trace to go into that changing room and help out at half time.
Yeah, she should go in as an honorary coach.
I mean, I have to ask you, Aoife, what was it like in that changing room in moments like this? Was it Did you always know there'd be like an encouraging section of the changing room, the other ones that would just be, they'd want to kind of get that rage off them, the frustration?
I think fairly professional, actually. Gone are the days, let's say, when I was first starting out in professional football, where you would really get the sort of hairdryer treatment. I think we're in an era now where we realise that generally to get the best out of people, you don't need to necessarily scream in their faces. So in a United team, you'd always go in, and the first 5 minutes were just for the players. Coaches wouldn't come in. You'd have a little chat. Sometimes, there might be a bit of spice on what was being said, but it was generally like, right, what's going well? What do we need to change? Then Mark and the coaches would come in, and they'd probably either echo that. 9 times out of 10, they're probably saying similar things. Everyone knows what's going wrong or right, but the magic is actually how. So, like, was it Tracy said, cut them open? They're brilliant buzzwords, but the really kind of brilliant side of the coaching, which Mark will bring in, is actually how are you going to do that in real time? So you're kind of hanging off the coach's words to sort of unlock that, and then you just go and put it into action, basically, or at least you try your best.
I then have to throw a question on you then, Aoife. With that in mind, you're talking about the how. If you were going into change room now at half time, what would you think is the thing that could change, or the thing that they need to freshen up on to make sure we come out massively in the second half to get this win?
I think a bit tidier on the ball. Firstly, don't beat yourselves up. 1-0, no shame in that against Lyon. We have had some, United have had some chances. Get the press sorted a little bit better. Try and stop some of the crosses coming into the box. So try and stop some of Lyon's dangerous moments. Whether that's maybe slightly changing the formation when United are pressing, whether it's just pressing with Rach or pressing with someone else. They're little tweaks that the coach will make a decision on. And then just bring the energy. Keep bringing the energy and the intensity. Because Lyon will tire, they will tire, and you have to have that heart and that spirit to be in the game at the right moment when the chance comes in. We're looking at Melvine walking in, a chance will fall for her again, and she has to be ready for it.
So as we can see now, it is half-time. In Lyon, Manchester United women are yet to score in this game. Lyon are leading by 1-0 after that Chowinga goal in the 12th minute. There was a huge opportunity for Melvine Mallard. You could hear it in our voices here. We were ready to jump up and down on this sofa if that was going in. But as Aoife perfectly said there is some great opportunities in this game. We just need to take it. But now I have to come to you, Lindsay, because you mentioned about the bench earlier. When you name our bench, that is an unbelievably strong bench. If you were Lyon and you just looked at the team sheet and you looked at our bench, you're thinking, this attacking threat can come from anywhere if Mark makes some changes, can't it?
Yeah, of course, and I think they'll recognise it. It might be a reason why they started so well as well, and thinking, let's get as many goals as we can before he does make some changes. But that's the beauty of this bench. You've got creative players. We will 100% see Tooney on this pitch in the second half. Jess Park, hopefully Galton, because we know what Galton can offer, and I think that's where they need to work on those flank areas and get deliveries into the box. We've had one great opportunity, and that come from a delivery into the box from a wide area. So you've got the players on there who can change the game. So I definitely think we'll see them. And with the game still only being at 1-0, then United are in this. And I definitely think in the last 10, 15 minutes, United have been able to stop the deliveries in from those wide areas. They've been tighter, and it has been better in the last 15 minutes. So Mark will say, let's have a little bit more of that, please, in the second half.
Yeah, he definitely will. But thank you guys for tuning in for this watch along for this. We are going to be back with plenty more to chat about very soon. But before all that, as we've said, it is just 1-0. 1-0 for Lyon. There's plenty to play for. We have already qualified for the next stage, and all it takes is another goal for Manchester United to bring us back into it. But before all this, we just need to take a little look at, I was going to say some better pundits, and that was really sad. I meant because there was some unbelievable pundits up and coming that is going to be in this VT. I'm saying this because I'm biased, I've seen it and I love it, and I know you guys are going to love it too. It's called Small Talk, and these kids are the most confident kids I think I've ever seen in my life, and they've decided to ask Mark Skinner the best possible questions going. So, We are going to have a look at that very soon. So we will see that very shortly. But we're going to have a little breather and then we'll show you that afterwards. So we'll see you very soon. So we are back then. There's just a few minutes left of half-time. As we said, Lyon are leading this game 1-0. But we can see now the teams are getting ready for the second half, and it looks like Ella Toon is the player that's going to be coming on. So who knows who she is coming on for just yet. As soon as we know, we will give you all a shout. But it's been lovely to hear from the fans as well, because we've had the official supporters club getting in touch with us as well. We'll show you these pictures really soon, because there's been some lovely fan atmosphere going on in Lee. But we have got, as we said, some of the team getting ready to come out. How exciting is it, Aoife, to have players like, as we said, a strong bench, but Ella Toon's coming on? I mean, it must be great to see. And we have got Ziggiotti as well, looking excited to come on. Leah wishing a look there.
Yeah, I mean, it's brilliant to have a team where you've got that level of squad depth to bring players on at half-time. Tooney doesn't need to be introduced. We know what she brings. An amazing fan favourite, scores incredible goals from range. 2024 FA Cup final springs to mind, absolute pearl of a goal against Spurs. Ziggiotti has bedded in like seamlessly into United after a move in the summer. So two really probably decent players coming onto the pitch. And I think you can expect now the feel of the midfield to really changing. Is that a third sub as well? I'm just looking at the board here.
Yeah, so it looks like Nalsund, Simi are off.
Oh, and Jess Park on as well.
Jess Park
so
on.
another incredible player signed from City in the summer. I think a lot of people, when they've been asked who their best, their favourite player of the season has been so far, Jess Park's name has kept coming up. Really good ball carrier, created lots of chances for herself. Really exciting, electric player. So I think, hopefully, that the feel of this game will change in the second half.
It's bold from Mark, isn't it?
Really bold.
You know, I like it. They've qualified. They're only 1-0 down, and he's put 3 really strong players on and given them a good 45 minutes to do some damage and be effective in this game. And I think, you know, we'll see Mala going into that number 9 where Rach was occupying. Park go out to that right, and obviously to right area, and Tooney dropping into that 10. So also experienced in those positions and really looking for a goal. That's what those 3 subs shout out. We want to get a goal.
I mean, they're players right there. When we talk about the bench, it's game changers completely. And I just said it's bold from Mark. Aoife, there must have been an inspiring half-time talk, especially for those players too, to be like, you need to get on this pitch in the second half and you need to be the players that really make a difference.
Yeah, and I think as a, you know, just putting my player hat on, if you've not started, even if it could be because you only have one leg, even if there could be amazing reasons why you've not started. If you get subbed on, you want to show why you are the first player on that team sheet. And all of these girls, what unites them, other than the togetherness, it's the most together team I've been part of, is the ambition of the team collectively and as individuals. So those girls coming on now, Jess Park, Tooney, and Jess Park, Tooney and Ziggy Otti, they'll be chomping at the bit to show why they're the one piece of the puzzle that will change the fortunes for the team in the second half. So I think it'll be really exciting to watch. And I think also, when you're coming on at half-time, I have come on at half-time as a player. It's a bit different as a defender. Don't usually come on at half-time. When you come on at half-time, there's nothing, I don't think you have the same level as pressure. You can almost take the handbrake off and maybe play with a bit more freedom or take more risks. And I think that might be something that might be needed in the second half.
I mean, what is needed from my perspective and for the viewers there, I'd really like it if you can show us how you think that's going to work in the middle now. Now that obviously we've changed some of our players, can you show us a little bit what we've got in the midfield? We've said about Toon coming on, Ziggy Otti coming on, especially with Hinnie as well. It should be quite similar to what they were like maybe against West Ham at the weekend. Yeah,
and to be fair, with the changes that have been made, although the starting formation will be similar in terms of positions, just looking at a Lyon chance here, looks like it would be... Should we watch this dangerous free kick first?
Yes.
Just outside the box.
Let's watch this dangerous free kick first.
As much as I'd like to tell you about Jade's overloads and Jess Park rolling in,
let's just hold the fort a minute.
I think that the viewers want to see this more. So is that Chewinga?
It is Chewinga, and it's a late tackle from Ziggy Otti, and she takes it down. But it's that really, really good press in that midfield area. Tooney give the ball away, and Lyon just on it in a flash, and that's where that came from. Ziggy Otti just coming on maybe a little bit, just trying to get up to match speed as well, gives that free kick away in a really dangerous position for Lyon on the edge of the area. Probably about, 20, 25 yards out, if that. I think it's Basher on the ball, isn't it? We know she's got a really good left foot. So Tullis Joyce will be looking. I think it'll be a shot this from Basher.
Definitely. I think it might be just on the edge, maybe, of the box.
Yeah, it does look like it.
Yeah, you're right.
It looks so close. I mean, from a defending perspective, though, Ziggy Otti, she had to do it. She had to try and get rid of the danger somehow. Or
sometimes you can't get your feet out the way in time, and the whoever's running with the ball will deliberately. Oof. It never looked like it was going in, but there was a mean curl on it.
Yeah.
So it was probably closer looking back than I felt when I was watching it. But it's good. She's got a really good delivery of the ball. Great pace on it. Just curled over the top corner.
Yeah, and a lot closer than I thought. You're looking at, 19 yards out, aren't you? So really dangerous position. And I think going back to that Ziggy Otti, it's the year against Chewinga, who I've not played against, but I've watched her. And she must be one of the quickest players in the female game. So you're trying to get your footwork and your position right, and then she comes running at you, then you know, you would say really Ziggiotti. Now that the end result's gone and the free kick's gone, it was the right thing to do. Although she's picked up a yellow.
Yeah, all's well that ends well when the free kick doesn't go in. I think I remember saying how well Lisa had been pressing against, I forget who it was, I think it might have been, I want to say Valerenga potentially. Was it? And then she was pressing so well, gave a free kick, and then that was the goal off the free kick. So I always try and wait now when I say that, you know, a foul was well taken.
Especially against Valerenga, it was a...
Was it Valerenga?
Yes, Valerenga, because then Lisa's position changed before the game as well. Because obviously she went a little bit further forward than usual.
Yeah, she did. She was playing more like a 10, wasn't she?
She was.
She was running beyond the lines, yeah.
And while you two are gabbing away, it's been a really good bit of play from United. And
analysing, I think the word is, John.
Exactly.
Analysing.
I'm quite offended by that, Lindsay.
Gabbing away.
Apologies, but that's why Tooney's come on. She's just played a really good midfield splitting pass between the two midfielders to play in Rolfo on this left-hand side. Eventually, that phase of play has come to nothing because there was an offside, but really you can see that they're working through the phases on the ball in those midfield areas, something that was lacking in that first half. So that's definitely something Mark will want. Tooney on the ball in those midfield areas and Ziggiotti as well linking up.
And they've got really good link up as well. Anna left back, Rolfo on the wing, and then Tooney kind of just on the inside in that pocket, as we say, like an advanced midfielder position. And those connections, it probably wasn't as obvious in the first half to see them. Probably like the passes or the distances were a bit more stretched in between the players. So it's really encouraging already, like you say, to see those split line passes from Tooney. And that is her bread and butter. That's something that she brings that not many players actually have the quality to do. Like, find me players that can genuinely pick up the ball in between the lines, so just in front of the opposition's back line, and actually play passes that just split that defence perfectly for wingers to run onto. It's so hard. There's not many people in the WSL that can probably do that.
I agree. You've got to A, have the vision, but then B, have the quality to then execute that pass through wherever you're trying to thread the ball through, which she does excellent.
It's hard because mostly when you play a pass, you're just passing it to someone's feet. Certainly as a defender anyway, when we would have got the ball, you're just passing it to someone's feet. So to have that vision and anticipate exactly where the ball's going to go and where the player's going to meet it, it's really high level. And it's great to see Tooney that, and it means that doing that, it means she's in form as well. Ooh.
And this is now, it looks like Hinney's able to break away there.
It was a really good press from her, wasn't it?
Yeah. Look at the speed of Melvine Mallard there as well.
And I was saying, for all the things that Hinney brings, and she brings so many things, the one thing that she's probably known for is absolute lightning pace. And when she nicks it, she does so well, but the ball just goes slightly far away from her. And if she had an extra, like, 2 or 3 kilometres of speed in a bank, that could have been, you know, if that had fallen to Melvine, for example, but really, really good from her. Nicks the ball perfectly. And those interceptions and winning the ball back up high was probably something we didn't see as much in the first half. So definitely maybe something that Mark said to them at half-time that they need to do better.
Before we were rudely interrupted by Lyon, we were going to have a little look at this tactics board, Aoife. Is now the right time
Now
for
is
us?
the right time.
So let's do it.
I'm going to get rid of these blue guys.
I'll shuffle out the way here on my Mahusive sofa that I'm on to help out our wonderful camera team here.
I will come to the side.
I love how you just make yourself at home here.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, you have just asked me.
Yeah, no, but I just love the fact you feel at home with this.
No, I do really like this. I've just done my coaching badges, so I'm like, all the gear, no idea.
You're at school again.
It's the coach's way.
I've got my A licence, I'll have to know.
There we go.
Anyway.
It's big time now.
So, in the first half, the wingers were what we would call traditional wingers. So we had Melvine on the right side and then Rolf on the left. But now Jess Parks went onto the right side. I've said in previous watch-alongs, just watching a Lyon
in the box here. Great block from Julie Ziggiotti.
I'm annoyed at Lyon because they really don't want me to get through this tactical piece.
They haven't heard you've got, you've got A licence.
Do they not know? Do they not know I've got my A licence?
Can someone tell the bench, please?
So, we'll put this blue on as the ball. So, what will happen, right? You've got Jess Park. She's not a natural winger, so she'll come inside almost as an extra midfielder. That is perfect for a full-back profile that, like we said earlier, Jade Riviere, she likes to attack like a winger, defend like a full-back. What that means, she'll get really, really high when the likes of Maya has the ball in the back line. That's so hard to defend because essentially there's just more numbers on the back line for Lyon to defend. And for that opposition full-back, so let's say like Batcher, we've said in previous watch-alongs, who does she mark? Does she mark Jess Park, who's her winger, which would be the normal matchup, but then there's loads of space for Jade? Or does she go and mark Jade, and then there's loads of space for Jess Park, slightly in the midfield to get the ball? So it's a real conundrum, and the best teams are really tactically adept in like making little tweaks like that, and starting in one position and actually ending somewhere else. And I think that's where this United team have had so much success, specifically from Jade on that right-hand side, really commanding the channels, allowing other players to come in and make an extra number in midfield and create an overload.
Aoife, that was well worth the wait.
Is that okay?
That was well worth the wait, as always.
Is that all right?
I tell you what, you've been working hard on the A licence.
It is a great achievement to get your A licence.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Make sure everyone in the chat best be wishing Aoife congratulations on that A licence, all right? You were completely right there, especially about the marking proposition, because as you said there, you've got the confusion of do you mark Jade, do you mark Jess Park? And Jess Park is a player that has been scoring absolute belters from outside the box.
Yeah. And as a defender, so flipping that, so we just spoke about United attacking. If I'm trying to get into the mindset of Lyon defending, what you don't want is hesitation. Hesitation as a defender kills. So if you get that split second where you're like, should I jump here and go to this player or should I go there? That is just what can give the attacking team that impetus to like drive forward, create momentum. All of a sudden you've blinked and they're putting balls into the box, they're making entries, they're dribbling, they're putting crosses. It's really, really difficult. So you try, as I've been learning on my big coaching course with all my buzzwords, trying to disrupt the back line and create hesitation. And if you can do that, you've got yourself a chance. I think Mark calls it an invasion game. He says, he used to say, we need to invade the back line. And you do that with dribbles, with passes, but you have to have the right amount of numbers in and around the back line. When you're defending in your own box, you don't get a chance to do that. Let's say in the first half, Paul Rach was the only outlet. When you get more of the ball, you can push your players higher, you can push Jade up, you can put Jess Park inside, and then Bob's your uncle. Football's as simple as that, isn't it? And if it was played on a tactics board, we'd all be Pep Guardiolas of the world, wouldn't we?
We'd all be Ruben Amorim.
Would all be Ruben Amorim.
And Mark Skinners.
And Mark Skinners and not anyone else. Well, I was thinking of him at Barcelona and Bayern Munich, not at City.
And here we go, there is a chance for Manchester United now. And this is what we said about basically being the disruptors, is what we said.
That's a great ball.
That's where Anna Sandberg is terrific.
And whilst Aoife was taking them through the tactics boards, that whole time United were having great phases of play. They were moving the ball through the phases, basically going through Tooney and Park and trying to get those linking plays and trying to invade the opposition's 18-yard box. And there is another delivery, another entry into the box. United are just getting more of the ball, more confident, and you can see that they want it more. You've got Jess Park screaming at her teammates to galvanise them, Tooney doing the same. They definitely want something out of this game. They're not sitting off and thinking we've qualified. They know that they're still in this game at 1-0 and they can get something out of it.
Now, whilst Lyon have got a player down there, number 13, Damaris, I have set the official Women's Supporters Club on a task today to basically show us some pictures as to what they're doing at the stadium right now, get as many fan pictures as possible, and they've sent in this for us. So take a look at these pictures. I'm going to show the girls in the studio. Have you seen this? Oh, let's have a look at this. So they've actually got their halftime snack was party rings. Now, this is an ongoing joke because we actually have said this to Fallon Talise Joyce, because these party rings are marine versions, so they're all like fish shapes, and it's in honour of Fallon.
Oh.
So we have that. But as we said, there's a little Santa hat in the background as well. We have got more pictures that they have sent in for us. So there we go, we've got all the flags in the background. That's a great sight, isn't it? Aoife, for you, that must be a warm feeling. You must have been so used to seeing all those flags in Ley.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a presence at Lee. There's such an atmosphere, and then obviously that one side that has all of the flags. As a player, you always felt so supported, and it almost felt, well, it did feel like your fans were that extra player, which I don't think I don't think many teams in the WSL get to have the privilege of feeling like that. I always thought when we were playing at home, you have that extra edge, because I think a lot of teams, my feeling was that a lot of teams would come away to play at Lee and it would almost be a bit overwhelming. They weren't used to the atmosphere, so well done the fans, and it's lovely to see those pictures.
A huge shout out as well to not only our official Women's Supporters Club, but to our Rainbow Devils as well, who have got their flag there. Rainbow Devils on tour. And then we have got a lovely trio of fans there too. One thing that I do know from being there, because I am quite lucky that I get to go and report on some of these games with those three, usually it is the loudest section going at Lee. Honestly, I felt like I had to just shake my ears afterwards because they were shouting all the names so loud as possible. The songs are great. Aoife, for you, did you have a favourite song that you liked when you were playing for Manchester United?
Just watching a Lyon breakaway here. At Christmas time, there used to be a really...
Chance for Lyon, but
Chance for Lyon.
danger away.
Chance for Hegerberg in the box. At Christmas, there used to be a nice song about Hayley Ladd. It was the 12 days of Christmas, but every day was Hayley Ladd. So it's like 4 Hayley Lads, 3 Hayley Lads. I really liked it. I just remember it once. It really stuck in my head. And then I quite liked the Tooney and Leslie Russo one. Love Leslie.
It's like a sentimental chant now, isn't it?
And to be fair, I didn't mind my own one. I was debating then whether to say that, but I didn't.
Go on, give us it. I'd like to hear it.
I'll give you the beat. It's like da 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 da, and then it was my name. I'm not going to sing my own name. Not that.
We should have just sung it.
Yeah, we should have.
We should have sung it.
Yeah, missed it.
Yeah, the songs are really good.
They're really good. It just helps build an atmosphere there because we have really made Lee into a home now for it. It's now the Progress with Unity Stadium, of course. It does have an official name now, but it is nice that it has become quite a fortress for the team, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree, and I think, you know, I've done a lot of work for MUTV and I've been lucky enough to be at the grounds as well, and I think Manchester United women really started that sort of vibe of the chants. I know Arsenal have probably had it, but it was United who've really started it and really made that sort of home crowd be that 12th player for the team as well, and make themselves so loud. It can be so loud at the stadium as well, so I think they need to, you know, be really proud of that and what they've done at the ground.
You can see the tension building now because Lyon are stringing a few passes together, especially now they're trying to get players into the box, but this is where that we said before, that bringing those types of players on, like your Jess Parks, Julie Zigiottis, they are going to be ones that are going to try and press as aggressively as possible, which is exactly what Mark wanted and something that he spoke about even at the West Ham game. Yeah,
massively. You know, the importance of the pressing intensity and giving it everything, and players up coming on off the bench really making a difference. But look, when you're playing against a team like Lyon, no matter how good you're doing, the momentum will swing back and forth. So it's no massive slight sometimes to be struggling for a few minutes or to be playing against a team that will get chances or will get crosses into the box. I think you used the phrase weather in the storm earlier. Weather in the storm here and there, and then when you can get that moment to kind of progress up the pitch, make some passes, get inches into the box, you've just got to make good on those chances and try and put them away.
We do. We have got some great comments coming in now in the live chat. So if you haven't got your chats in already into this, you need to make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, because there is a few that have done it already. We've got C Jones 792 who says, to be still competing in this match, only 1-0 down, really shows how far we have come. Considering Lyon's history, for a relatively new team like ours, it's fantastic work to be where we are now. Couldn't say it better myself, because especially when you think about this team forming in 2018, obviously for the second time, this is unbelievable how quickly this team has transitioned to try and compete with the best.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think we've talked about it before, that making history. Mark Skinner or Katie Stoney before him, they're making history constantly. And this, you know, winning the FA Cup a couple of seasons ago, now they've qualified for the Champions League for real. And it's constantly making history, this club. So now to be going toe-to-toe at 1-0 against a Lyon side who's won the Champions League 6 or 7 times in the past 10 years, 10, 12 years, and are always there or thereabouts, then that's phenomenal. But that's not enough for this side, is it? They want to get something out of this game, and I think they'll push it to the very end as well. But the lengths that this team has gone and this squad has gone and keep going, I think it's just phenomenal, and it's great to see.
Do you like that in the chat? There's lots of Aoife love coming in now as well. We've got Diana Doyle who says, "We love you, Aoife. Once a red, always a red." I bet it feels like home every time you come to United, doesn't it?
Yeah, I remember saying before, it's such a privilege to come back and do these little bits, and I feel like almost an extension of the team. Obviously, I'm not with the team anymore, but it's lovely to come and root for all of the girls because I still know so many of them. Obviously, there's new signings in the summer, but definitely got a lot of love for Man U, and feel very lucky to be able to sit and just chat football really and shout on the girls. Like, could be worse things, couldn't there?
I mean, it must be nice for both of you because, first of all, Lindsay, we always have heard you, especially for years on the co-coms for Manchester United women's games, and then for you, Aoife, it's, oh, hold on, there was a chance there. I nearly had to take a big breath. But we are in the clear for now. We're safe. Don't worry, guys. I nearly panicked for no reason. But as I was saying, when you think about that, you two are pretty much household names for the girls because you two have been such big supporters for you on the pitch and now off the pitch for United. I mean, it must be nice for them to have players that are basically just big fans and rooting for them, because it's different to just having fan support, having people that know the game inside out and know exactly how hard they're working behind the scenes. It must be rewarding to hear.
I think for me, obviously, you know, my background, unfortunately, has nothing to do with Manchester United, although for the last 5, 6, 7 years, I've been able to come and do punditry and co-coms, which has been brilliant. And obviously, the more you do that, you get a soft spot. But I have a soft spot for United women because they play very good football. Their transformation from where they've come over the last number of years has been really good to watch, and I'm invested in the girls, and I want them to do well. So it's great to be here and watch great football and to see them test themselves against the best players in Europe.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And because the team's such a young team, it was obviously only created in 2018. There aren't really many people that you see actually in the media like kind of I think really rooting for United. So with other teams that are much more established, let's say your Arsenals or your Chelseas, when there's the FA Cup finals or other games where it's big contentious games, I'm always like, where's the United person? So as the team continues to grow, well, but Siobhan Chamberlain has obviously done like great bits, and obviously you as well, Jono, is kind of like a friend from afar, if you like. But I do think the team is craving a little bit of that. So if I can sort of just G the team up a little bit, I'm happy to do that. More than happy to do that.
I mean, the more the merrier. That's what I say. You mentioned Siobhan Chamberlain as well. I was actually talking to her earlier because she's been busy being the co-coms for the Barcelona-Benfica game. I mean, you're just scattered everywhere, aren't you? Global Reds is what we said. I do love the fact that there are still people messaging the chat as well as to where they're watching this watch-along from as well, which is interesting. There was one from Peru earlier that I spotted, yeah. So we are everywhere. But yeah, there has been a couple of chances now for Manchester United, and it seems that we're getting a lot more success when it's on the counter, that we just need to break up that Lyon midfield. That seems to be where we're getting the most success, would you say?
Yeah, I would say so, and I think this is a really good opportunity for United now. Lyon have just made 3 substitutes. Chawinga's gone off, which we won't miss her, will we? Lindsay Heap's gone off. I don't know who the third one is, but so there's a bit of movement there, and it's a really good time to stop that momentum for Lyon The unfortunate thing and the difficult thing is that they've brought in really good players on Diani, who's a French forward, and Katoto, who's another French forward, very experienced players, quick, and are both, you know, got instincts in front, good instincts in front of the goal. So another challenge for the back line, but an opportunity at the same time to break up the momentum what Lyon have had in the last 5 or 6 minutes.
We have got Julie Heary that says, "Come on, you Reds, an amazing achievement so far, and we are all behind you." And we have got as well, we've had a couple of comments saying, "Get Millie on, where is she?" Millie Turner is still injured for now, but there was amazing news with Mark Skinner's pre-match interview a few days ago as well. It was just last week before the West Ham game. Mark got to announce that Millie has been in training, which is amazing news that I know so many Reds would love to hear, because we can't wait to have her back in the mix with everyone, because Millie T is a huge team player. She really brings the atmosphere. And for you, Aoife, what was it like being with her? Because even just from a media perspective, she's a breath of fresh air, isn't she?
Yeah, she is a breath of fresh air. And what springs to mind is her tattoo that she has just here on her arm. I think it's like a sun, or it's something, and it's a sunny side up. I think, is it a fried egg?
I think it is.
Is it actually a fried egg on it? I might really be doing a disservice here. It might be something really highbrow, and I've just said she's got a fried egg tattooed onto her.
Yeah, it's a poached egg.
I really hope we can clip this up and show it to her then.
Whatever it is, I think
Benedict.
it's about sunny side up, and that epitomises her whole character.
Yeah.
Like, we know what she brings on the pitch. She's obviously been an incredible central defender, and it's
Hold on a second, there's a chance for Manchester United here. Mel, go on.
You've got to get your shot off quicker there, Mel. She's on the edge of the box, isn't she? Wanted to take a touch, and you had 4 Lyon defenders coming out and closing you down.
She just had that little hesitation there. If she just decided to hit it straight away, it could have been in the back of the net again. But this is where you can see United are growing with confidence when they string those passes together. So hopefully an opportunity will come really soon.
And just going back to Millie, so I met Millie when she started. She come over to Everton when I was at Everton towards the end of my career, and she was, and I used to pick her up. We didn't live far, so I used to take her to training. And once she got in the car, she used to just tell me about her week. Probably she was still in school or college at the time, and she would just talk non-stop. And the next minute we were at training, which was a 35-minute drive, and I'm like, Millie's just spoken to me for 35 minutes about just fun, happy stuff.
And you've not put a word in.
No, and it was nice.
And you know what? She never changed. Never changed.
I mean, even interviews with her are unbelievable. She's just so fun-loving all the time, and she's probably the best big sister all these players can hope for as well. She's definitely their biggest fan. And I am really loving the love for Millie in this chat now as well. Thanks for those lovely comments. And we've also got Beccasaurus Bex, which is an unbelievable name to have on YouTube. That's so good. But they've said, "I've loved having Mannion's commentary for this reason. It's so nice to have a deeper insight into the team and a past player really rooting for the girls." So yeah, see, there's definitely space for it there to be the biggest fans. But we can see now that we're just 72 minutes into this game, a corner. What's your thoughts so far on this second half?
I think it's been a second half of 2 halves so far. I think United have really started the game well and have been able to get Tooney and Jess Park on the ball, which have really changed this game, tried to create more opportunities and definitely put more pressure on this Lyon side. Just saw an effort there. It dropped to Rolfo in the box, and if anybody you want to drop to, I know it was a hard position, but she tried to just hit it with the outside of her left foot. Just drops to here at Sandberg, whips it in, and tries to hit it on the volley, just on the volley, but doesn't time it right. But they've definitely created more opportunities. Still, Lyon are in this game, obviously, but I think United have been far better, had more pressure, looked to be more creative, and tried to get more opportunities in the box.
So it looks like a substitution for Manchester United. Anna Sandberg off, Dominique Janssen on. I mean, Dom was excited the other day at the weekend against West Ham with that great well-worked goal. She had an absolutely beaming smile on her face. If you haven't looked at the post-match interview, check it out on the Manchester United app, because I don't think I've ever seen Dom that happy. She just couldn't contain it. She was pretty much jumping up and down when she scored.
I mean, she's a really, really good footballer, but even and I've obviously played with her for a year, I didn't know that she had that in her locker. I can't remember her taking free kicks. So to see her, the way that she struck that ball was just incredible, and obviously that was the deciding moment that got the team 3 points against West Ham. And a really big presence at the back for United this season as well, obviously since Millie's been injured. Plays on the left side of centre-back, is right-footed but can strike a ball with her left foot so well, and it's really, really unusual to get a right-footed centre-half who can play on the left like that. She's a proper protagonist on the ball, can make things happen, start attacks, string passes together, really, really good. And then to put that cherry on the top with the free kick that she scored, I think she's a really important player for United. And she's I believe, just been made the captain of the Netherlands. So, yeah, it just shows how important she is internationally as well. And it's nice to see that since she's come to United, her kind of international career is also taken a step. And I think that shows you the stature of the players at United, and how, from the outside, I think United is starting to be respected even more as a team, not just in the WSL, but kind of in Europe as well.
We can see that Lyon are having a couple of opportunities now. But this is where we have got plenty of strength in our defence now as well, because it was interesting as the opportunity came for Lyon before, Maya managed to get just a foot on it and just clear the danger yet again. When you've got leaders like Maya Letitia, Dominic Janssen, how comfortable must you be if you're one of the attacking players? Going, it's all right, the back line, they'll fix it for us, they'll sort it out.
It's important, isn't it, to have confidence in your back line and your keeper, and vice versa. When you're playing as a defender, you want to have confidence in your midfielders and your forwards, that it's not always coming back to you. Sorry, it's another opportunity whipped in cross on the left-hand side from Lyon, and I don't know how it evaded everybody's head. A United head, a Lyon head, but that was a close call. They definitely turned the screw again, Lyon, but it's becoming open, isn't it? I think it's definitely opened up, and both teams are trying to get Lyon that second goal and United's first.
Great save from Fallon there. It was a great bit of football from Lyon, but thankfully Fallon was there to save it. As we said, there's a little bit more danger now, all of a sudden.
Was that Kitoto, or was it maybe Diani?
Yeah, I think it's Dumouriez, that the midfielders a couple of times now come out wide right, and now it's quite fluid, that movement, I think. So if they're picking the balls up, Lyon, on those midfield areas, the transition and how quick they're breaking is what's dangerous for United now, because United are rightfully so trying to get that goal.
In fact, we'll take a look at that now as well, so you guys can have a look again at this little replay as what we're talking about. It was well-worked bit of play from Lyon, but scoreline is still Lyon 1, Manchester United 0. And as we said, there's opportunities for both teams here. All it takes, especially because Lyon are only 1-0 up, Manchester United just need to score, and we know exactly what they have in their back locker, where the excitement it just brings with players like Jess Park that just get hungry for more goals straight away.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's so much quality on the pitch, and just something that I've noticed is that Dominic Janssen, who we're used to seeing at centre-back, actually looks like she's come on for a straight swap for Anna Sandberg. It might just be they're going to change, they might change back into centre-back if the ball goes out of play. But at the moment, she actually came on and she's playing left-back, which I don't think we've seen from her before.
No, and I noticed it myself, and I thought, will they switch back in? But I think she's going to stay there because they've had opportunity to switch. And I think what I was going to add to your point before, Aoife, the thing with Janssen is she's so versatile, because when she was at Arsenal in her previous stint in the WSL, we saw her in that centre midfield area, but we did see her in a full-back position as well. So she's so versatile. The only position we haven't seen her probably is up front, but she can score goals.
Yeah, she can. She can.
Yeah, if you haven't had a look at the goal that Dominic Janssen scored at the weekend, please do. It is on the Manchester United app. It's also on our socials as well, because during her post-match interview, we asked her what the thought process was before that free kick, and there's a great little video where you can see her talk it through and you can see her goal at the same time. So take a little nosy at that when you get a chance.
Just watching Diani run down the wing here. Some good defending from Dom. Obviously, she's playing as a fullback. What I was going to say as well about Dom is that she is the hardest passer, the hardest ball striker of the ball that I've played with, in terms of, like, as a centre-back, you do a lot of sideways passing, like passing to your other centre-back or passing out to the full-back. If there was, like, a little thing in the ball that could measure how quick the ball was moving, I think Dom would be at the top of, like, a leaderboard. She can strike the ball so accurate and so hard on both feet, and I don't know any other centre-back that can strike it as hard as she can. It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah,
really,
it's interesting, isn't it, that you've it must be hard for you to notice it, Aoife. But I do think they should get that. They should get one of those ball trackers and just, work it out for real.
Oh, it's a great goal for Lyon. It is 2-0 now to Lyon. Talking about a strike like that, that was a powerful strike for Lyon to make it 2-0.
That was an absolute worldie. Just waiting to watch the playback on that. Dermine?
Dumouriez, yeah, the French midfielder. She hit that with some power, didn't she? But like you say, we just need to see the replay back. Did she have it come here from this left-hand side and just recycled out? And it's Ziggiotti. Ziggiotti's tracking her, but could she get a little bit tighter? But it's the quick feet of Dumouriez, just to there, just 1 and 2 touch with her feet and just blasts it. Tullis Joyce cannot do anything about that shot.
Maybe as well Julia with that earlier when she first came on the pitch, she had that yellow too, so you've got to be careful. It looks now Fridolina Rolfo is off, Leah Galton is coming on. This is a bit of an uphill task in this game, but just to remind you, we have already qualified for the next stage in the Champions League. So all is not lost. We are still comfortable. It is our opportunity for us. It's a great opportunity and experience for this team to be a part of. This is just a fight to try and see if we can get in that top 4.
And I was just thinking before the goal come on, I was just thinking, who else can come on? I looked and saw Leah's name there, and I thought that'd be my next sub to get her on. And it must be always difficult as a sub when you're waiting to come on and then your team concedes a goal, because your mindset is, I'm going to go on and I'm going to create that opportunity to either score the goal myself for the equaliser. It's a bit of a blow, isn't it? But Leah's experienced. She'll come on and do a job, and who knows what happens. There's still 10 minutes left in this game. Anything can happen.
Yeah, definitely. Anything can happen. And before that goal, the game really did seem to open up a bit. And United had made some really kind of threatening forays into the box forward. So it came at the wrong time, the goal. But I'm excited to see what Leah can bring to the pitch. We know that at her best, she's a really good, aggressive player on the wing. She can really pop up at the back post when crosses are put into the box, and also she can really dribble and push the ball and drive down the wing. So it'd be really good to see if she can kind of bring that into this game. I think for the last 10 minutes now, United, like they have been doing in the second half, they're going to want to press really high, want to see if they can wield out some chances by forcing mistakes from Lyon. And just on the flip side of that, when Leah came on, Johannes for Lyon got subbed on as well. She's a really exciting player to look out for. I think she's only 18 years old, signed from Ajax in the summer. Great vision on the ball, so she's just something they'll have to contend with as well.
Lyon just had another opportunity there. Fallon's able to save it. So we've got around 7 minutes left in this game. Having a little look at the comments as well, we've got Ballon Seikans 2821 that says Lyon are proving a tough team to beat, something that we were saying even before the game, that we knew how tough Lyon would be, but do not be concerned, as we said, because we are already qualified. We've got Trace Music that says that was a top-class finish in that goal, which it was. As what we were saying there, that would have been extremely hard to try and save that goal. You've always got to respect those goals that are like that.
Agree. There was nothing that could be done, I think, with the shot once it had been struck. The questions where you can kind of look back, and when they do watch back, is can you get pressure on the player better, or can you defend the phase earlier a little bit better? Look, Lyon are always going to have chances. It's just so deflating that it came at that time, because now with only 5 minutes of regular time to go, you just leave a lot for the team to do. That said, obviously Leah Galton's just come onto the pitch, and before that they were starting to really work their way back into the game. So I'd like to see a big push from the girls now to try and see if they can create some chances and convert.
And I think, Zara, your point's like spot on when it comes down to Zigiotti. Yeah, the fast feet of Doumaré, but has she not got that tight, Zigiotti, because she's worried about that yellow card that she's got and not getting too tight where she commits a foul. So these things happen, but you learn from them, and Lyon have had lots of experience in this competition, and United are gaining that experience. But like I say, in the back locker, they've qualified. The cherry on top of the cake would be to try and get into that top four, but that top four you're fighting with Barcelona, Real Madrid, Lyon, Juventus, who've had a flyer. Then you've got obviously Chelsea in the mix as well, Arsenal creeping up. So these are big clubs who are experienced in the Champions League, and it's United's first crack at it. So to be where they are, they need to remember that and push on from it as well.
I think a sentence that you said there that we really need to focus on is that you said there, this is United's first crack at Champions League. People forget it. I think you hear the name Manchester United and you just presume that they should belong there, but we're in our infancy, aren't we, in this competition? We're competing against teams that have been playing in this week in, week out for years. Even, for instance, Juventus next week, they're currently in that top four spot at the minute. These are tough challenges that this team is going to have to face. So with that in mind, surely we should be thinking a 2-0 loss against Lyon. We've had a lot of rotation in this team, something that's probably needed, especially with the WSL challenges we've got to face this month.
Yeah, massively. I mean, all of these teams are massive, massive challenges. And like you just said, Zara, they're sandwiched in between really tough WSL games. So yeah, the girls are doing brilliant. They're competing with the best. This game isn't over yet. Thankfully, the team have put in all the hard work over the previous 4 games to qualify out of this stage, which again is another first. It's another moment of history for the team. It's their first time in Champions League proper, and then to do so well with their form up until this point, definitely something to be proud of. And now it's just about the fine, small details and tidying up and making tweaks on little bits and pieces to set themselves up strong for the next phase of the competition.
Next phase of that competition, Juventus away next week. As what we were saying in the first half, in that you've got plenty of travel that's involved, lots of media duties. It's a busy time to be involved in the Champions League. Chelsea have now pushed Juventus into 5th position, which means that Juventus will be chomping at the bit, really, to try and make sure that they get back into that top 4. They're just 1 point behind Chelsea.
And you know what? Juventus has probably been a little bit of a surprise package in this Champions League. They wouldn't be expected to be in that top 4, but they've done really well. Obviously, that massive result last week against Lyon, where they took them to a 3-3, and yesterday they beat St. Polten, who's one of the whipping teams of the Champions League. They beat them 5-0 away from home, so they can score goals as well. So there's no easy game for United. There's not been an easy game for them, but like I said, they've done all the hard work already. So yeah, that game next week is still a really important game for United.
It's also really hard as well in Champions League to be playing teams that you've actually never played before. The team doesn't have a history of like what the dance is with that team. You don't quite know how you should be picturing yourself. And yes, the rhetoric is always, we need to get after it, or we'll do this or we'll do that. But actually, when you've played a team a few times, you kind of know the areas that you might want to concede on a little bit, and then the areas that you really want to exploit. And they're playing against teams that have played in Champions League year in, year out. It's all about experience, and it's all about for the team to make the right steps forward in the competition, and that is exactly what they're doing. Yes, this is disappointing this evening to concede 2 goals. Let's not forget, it's against the most dominant force in Europe over the last 15 years.
I mean, that's a fantastic point to make, isn't it? I mean, especially as you said, you've been so dominant. You mentioned about pace earlier. We've just seen Hinny on the ball. Hinny clearly had something in the back pocket then, because she was absolutely charging there at the Lyon's defence. Even though we're in the 89th minute, Manchester United are still vying for a goal, aren't they?
Yeah, and I think you can tell the measure of the team and a team's culture by how they behave in the last few minutes of the game when maybe a result hasn't gone their way.
Oh. And it is another goal for Lyon. They've just managed to jump on the counter there and score. So 3-0 to Lyon here in the final moments of this game.
It's Dumouriez again, and you talked about before how hard Janssen passes the ball, but the pace and power for Dumouriez on both of her shots for the goals, but particularly this one, it's pulled back, isn't it, here? Is it Diani on this right-hand side? She just pulls it back and she lashes at it, top bin, right in that top corner. Again, Tullis Joyce, no chance.
Yeah.
Stopping that from going in.
No chance. It's a brilliant pullback from Diani, and then Dumouriez's just picked up a really difficult position in the box to mark. It's too far out for the centre-backs to step onto, but then also difficult for the midfielders tracking back, and she doesn't need to be asked twice, does she? Absolutely just pelts through the ball, takes it really, really well, and she's had a really, really good night tonight. She's looked really bright, very good player, and that is a disappointing blow.
And she's a bright spark for Lyon as well. She scored 4 goals in 5 matches for them. And when you see a few of those goals as well, they're unstoppable goals, aren't they? If you look at that scoreline and then you've seen those goals, you'd say it's very hard for Fallon in those positions to even do anything.
And she can't do anything about those the second and third goal. It's unfortunate for United. You know, we've watched the whole game. Would I say it's a 3-0 game? No, but then you'd look at the stats as well and you'd see the amount of opportunities that Lyon have compared to United, then possibly. But, you know, it's disappointing to concede late in the game as well, but you're not stopping those shots from going in. I think we go back to Aoife's point, it's stopping the crosses going in, really. That's where it's difficult. Once that delivery's into the box, that pinpoint delivery, okay, there was lots of space for Diani on that right-hand side, and that's going to happen at a late stage of the game when you're pushing on, you're looking to try and get something from the game. It opens up and it leaves space to be exploited, and that's exactly what Lyon did.
Yeah, and that's really what separates the front line of Lyon probably from the rest of Europe, is that yes, they've got those classic physical attributes of being really quick or really powerful or great 1v1 players, but they've also got the finesse. And when those two qualities are combined, so that physical presence and then the quality and the finesse, it's really, really difficult. And they only need one chance to capitalise on it and make good on it. And as we've seen tonight, Lyon have shown just how clinical and how strong of an outfit they are. And what I want to see from the girls in the last 2 minutes is don't take your foot off the pedal, keep going, keep pushing for it as though one goal would win you the game. And I think now for the last few minutes it's about the pride in the badge, putting everything on the line, making the fans as happy as they can be considering the context of the game, taking the learnings and then going into the weekend.
And I think that's what we're seeing from Manchester United at the minute as Jay Riviere is on the ball. We've got players like Jess Park making these runs. This is exactly what I want to see. If you're a fan there in Lee watching this game, you still want to see the fight, and that's something that you can guarantee with Manchester United this season, that they are such a together team. And Aoife, you said it earlier, this is probably one of the most together teams that compete in the WSL and Champions League, because the way that they are with each other, they're a team of fighters.
Yeah, massively. They're a team of fighters and a really, really lovely group. And I don't always think that probably, you don't really hear about that much, just how nice the team are. And it's really not a given that you'd necessarily be in a team that are just so lovely and together to be around. And that's why you always want to see teams like this doing well. And what Mark, I know, really, really, really values is that spirit and that intensity and that fight. And he'll definitely be looking for that from his team in this last couple of minutes. And like you say, take it into the next game, take the learnings, forget the rest and keep stepping forward.
Exactly that. There's just a minute left now of this game. As I said, Lyon are leading 3-0 in Lee. We have got a couple of comments come in. One from Trace Music, who has been watching this watch-along from the start. You've been with us the whole way. You've said, all in all, we've done amazingly well considering first time in the Champions League. And highlight for me was being at Old Trafford and watching the amazing Reds beat PSG. I mean, that was incredible to have the Women's Champions League at the Theatre of Dreams. Yeah,
that was an incredible night for the team, not least because they went on and they beat PSG in the fashion that they did, but also it was a full circle moment from their last Champions League qualifying game. It wasn't in Champions League proper. 2 years previous to that, after the team had first qualified, and it was brilliant. It was proper full circle moment, and my personal highlight of watching this team in Champions League so far.
So it is full time now in Lee at Progress Union Stadium. So Lyon win 3-0. As we have said though, we have qualified for the next stage. There is another Champions League game still to play in the stage of the competition, Juventus away next week, where we will do another watch along for that. There has been some fantastic comments coming in. Thank you all to liking and subscribing and getting involved. Now, probably the biggest thing that we need to say is stay tuned, because you can never count out Manchester United whatsoever. You know they're going to bring that fight when they go away to Juventus. What do you think the belief is going to be for the next week? I'll come to you first, Lindsay.
Yeah, I think obviously they're going to reflect on this game and see what they can do better. I think second half, which was much better, they seemed to have more possession of the ball, they created opportunities, they seemed to link play a little bit better as well. And whether that's down to personnel or just they were stifled by a really good Lyon attack tonight and an organised Lyon side. You know, Mark will go through all those finer points with the team, but they haven't got lots of time to dwell on it, because your next game is at the weekend and then you've got Juventus next week. So I think, you know, they'll want to finish their Champions League 6 games with a win, so they'll go out and they'll give everything to that game. I think we'll see a really, really strong side starting that Juventus game.
What do you think they'll be saying to each other in this moment, Aoife?
I think they'll be saying, look, I think they'll be saying the things that they know they need to do better on the night, but not to forget how good they are, not to forget the moments of brilliance that they did have in the game, even though they might have wanted to have more of those moments. And really it's just remembering what your strengths are, making the little tweaks on the bits and pieces that you need, and then putting your best foot forward and moving on.
Oh, well, thank you two so much for being my wonderful guests for this watch along. You can see the team now as well in their huddle, because they're getting ready for another big week. Just a week to go till our next Champions League game at Juventus. There's plenty of reaction that's going to be on the Manchester United app. But if you want to keep in the know of Manchester United's women's team, as I said, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel that you're watching this on right now. Also tune in on TikTok and on Instagram, where you'll get plenty of behind the scenes as to what the girls are up to, and we'll see you very soon.